The film being described is the Golem. It indicates a Jewish legend made of dust, and he is revived through the enchantment. A giant creature is seen at the start of the movie, which has resulted in the deaths of a number of people. Also present is a spiritual leader, who is also called rabbi in Judaism. That rabbi tries to take hold over that creature. Then a little girl moves ahead to kill that creature, holding a piece of glass. That creature loses its control, casting a sight on that little girl, and it ends rabbi badly there. Witnessing this, that little girl moves away. After this, the story moves to a village where the time of 1673 is shown. And the leading character of this movie named Hannah is seen here, whose 7-year-old child had drowned to death. Now she was childless from that time. She used to realize this whenever she observed any woman with her baby, that she should have a kid. Now the father of church says to Benjamin, he should separate from his wife because no baby had been expected after the death of his son. But Benjamin forbids of doing so. It is known through this that he was deeply in love with Hannah. It was not enough, but he also used to give every happiness to Hannah. It was the law of their village that ladies of the village cannot visit the church. But Hannah used to visit church because it was permitted by Benjamin. Because Hannah was interested in the study of theology, and Benjamin also gives her a book after stealing from the church, which was the special book of their religion. And they also had a neighbor, whose name was Sarah, but her husband was no more. Sarah had a daughter who used to play with Benjamin. Now Hannah says to Benjamin for that book, "Thank you." But Benjamin still wanted that they may have a child. But Hannah was not willing for this. She used to think this, that expected child will also face the same circumstances. And Hannah used to take some medicine to prevent from this. And she used to take this medicine from a lady named Perla of a village. But Hannah had a fear of this thing as the happening that occurred with his ex-baby. The expected babies will face the same. It was the reason that she used to take this step. In the next scene, Benjamin is seen, who still used to remember his son, visiting his grave. It is observed at the wedding day of Hannah's sister. At the same day, some mysterious people enter their village. Those people had put on the masks with the awkward dresses, because a disease was going viral throughout their village. Due to this, many people had lost their breaths in their village. A man who was the chief of those people, and his name was Vladimir, his daughter had been infected by a very life-threatening disease. She could die if his daughter was not cured. Vladimir had a suspicion in his mind that these villagers have enchanted his villagers. As a result, this mysterious disease had spread throughout their village. Because those people were so powerful who could not be defeated simply while fighting. At the same time, Hannah's sister comes before them, and a man of Vladimir punches her and falls her down. But church father explains to Vladimir, they are blameless. Their whole village is separate, so it is completely safe. But Vladimir does not pick any word and he kills one of the men. And all villagers are scared there because of this incident. Now the same lady Perla appears there who used to treat all villagers. She says to Vladimir that she will cure his daughter. Vladimir threatens to those people, no villagers will step out of the village until his daughter is cured. Any villager who tried to violate this, then he will be sentenced to death. After this, all people arrange a meeting in the church of the village. Church father says to all, they all should pray for the recovery of his daughter, so that his daughter may be recovered soon, and Vladimir may leave their village. Then Hannah comes to the church and she says to church father that they should face those people, and they can also take help of Golem for this. But they all were not willing to fight with Vladimir. Then Hannah comes to her sister and she notices as she was beaten by Vladimir's man. Due to this, she had been wounded badly. Now a doctor was required for Hannah's sister. But Vladimir's men were not allowing anyone to step out of the village. Now Hannah becomes so aggressive on this. Now she thinks to make Golem alone, so she may fight with Vladimir and his men. Then Hannah enters the church and reads such written stuff, which had the techniques of making Golem. Then Hannah makes a puppet of mud, moving into a forest. She writes something on its forehead and inserts a note into its mouth. in which 72 secret names of God had been stated. After this, she draws a star around its surroundings and sets it on fire. Doing this, she loses her consciousness there. On the other side, Perla also discovers that something wrong has happened in the village. Hanna watches as she awakens in the morning. There had been created a big pit at that place. Now she thinks that his work is still incomplete. Being disappointed, she returns back to her house. Now she begins to see the luggage of his dead son. There was also placed a doll there. When Hanna and Benjamin are taking dinner at night, at the same time they realize as someone is present at their house. Hanna moves to her dead son's room for checking this. There were the footprints of Kid when Hanna notices the floor. On the other hand, Benjamin is also known as Hanna when she takes any medicine. Consequently, Hanna does not expect a child. Now Benjamin goes out of the house after being angry with Hanna. Next day, Hanna moves to her horse which was behaving weirdly. Then she observes a kid there whose body was covered with mud. Meanwhile, her horse also gallop, losing its control. That kid is also disappeared from there when Hanna looks at that child again. There was lying only his dead son's doll. After this, Hanna moves to the same place where she had tried to Golem. In the meantime, some men reach there. They suspect as Hanna is trying to run from the village. They capture Hanna and places her the place for her hanging. At the same time, a strange power begins to attack them. And Hanna also falls down from hanging rope of tree. Meanwhile, a kid arrives to Hanna. He was the same kid who had been seen at her home by her, and his whole body was smeared with mud. Hanna scares, seeing him first. When she removes the mud from his forehead, then it is revealed to her that it was the same Golem made by her, and the words that she had stated on that sculpture's forehead, it indicates that Hanna had succeeded to make Golem. Now Hanna brings that Golem at her house and keeps it hidden from others. Now Hanna gives bath to Golem at night and cleanses it. Then village Perla comes to her house and asks about that kid. Hanna tells her that it is a Golem made by her. Hanna tells Perla, it is this Golem which has rescued her life, and it can also protect them from the further disaster. Now Perla moves to that Golem. When it stares at Perla, then its eyes are turned black completely. Then Perla says to that Golem, we have already met when she was a little child. A little kid was this Perla who was seen at the start of this movie. It means that the creature that had been seen at the very start of the movie, it was Golem. And the girl before that Golem was Perla, who had secured from this situation. After this, Perla says to Hanna when Vladimir will move to this village, then they will have to destroy this Golem from here, taking out that note from its mouth which had been put into its mouth by Hanna. It cannot be ended like the ordinary things. Later, Hanna tries to end this Golem drowning into the water, but it does not end. Then Hanna observes her husband along with her neighbor Sarah. Now Benjamin was talking with Sarah in a jolly mood. Now it is not tolerated by Hanna. Now she returns to her house, and she brings a knife out. She was going to kill Sarah. At the same time, Golem appears before her and her anger is gone, seeing this. Then Hanna puts her dead son's dress on Golem. Then Hanna comes to know this: if she feels pain, the Golem will feel the same. If Golem will feel the pain, then Hanna is also hurt. Contrarily, Benjamin is seen, who moves to church for praying after taking meal at Sarah's house. Hanna observes when she wakes up in the next morning that her neighbor Sarah had been killed brutally by someone else. And it was Golem who had ended Sarah because Hanna wanted the same. And Golem could feel her feelings. While other villagers and Benjamin were thinking this, it has been committed by Vladimir and his men. Then all villagers decide to fight with Vladimir. Then they start fighting with his men. Then their one villager is died. When Vladimir's man tried to end Benjamin, then that man's head is exploded badly. And it is seen that Hanna had come there, accompanying Golem. But Vladimir understands all. It has been committed by Golem and he begins to fire at it. But nothing was affecting on Golem. Meanwhile, Vladimir's daughter calls him from the backside. She had recuperated, and Hanna also manages to halt the Golem. After this, Hanna warns Vladimir that he may leave, taking his daughter from here. And Vladimir leaves, taking his daughter. Now all villagers were so excited on this. Now Benjamin and Hannah are taking dinner at night. Then Hannah tells Benjamin, Golem is keenly interested in music. Then Benjamin starts playing the violin for Golem and Hannah makes it sleep. And Benjamin also forgives her for all her mistakes. Then Perla also comes to their house at night. Perla tries to end Golem, but it ends Perla violently. And her blood drops sprinkle in the bedroom of Hannah. When Benjamin checks it moving there, then he comes to know that Perla has died. And it is Golem who has killed him. And he is not a savior, but it is heartless ghost. Then Benjamin tells Hannah that Perla has been killed by Golem and it is not any savior. And it will also end us. But Hannah does not understand the point of Benjamin. Then Benjamin goes to church father and reveals to him the whole fact that Golem has killed Perla, and Benjamin tells that it also victimizes the guiltless people. Then church father asks him to Benjamin 10 people. And he also asks to use a magic on them. Further, he tells him that he will perform a magic on them. On the other side, it is shown Vladimir's daughter is died. Vladimir thinks that it is the trick of those villagers. Then Vladimir comes to the village of Hanna, taking his men. And Benjamin gathers 10 people in the village. And he lures Golem while playing the violin. Doing so, they lead it to the church. So Hanna may not know about this and they may end Golem, bringing it into church. Now they start enchantment on Golem, which begins to shake forcefully with magic. Now Hannah was also feeling the same which was being faced by Golem. Now Hannah understands this that Benjamin is going to end Golem. Then she immediately runs to the church, and Vladimir and his men also enter the village at the same time and they set it on fire. And they begin to victimize all the people. Then Vladimir comes near Hannah, and he attacks his head with a wooden stick. Consequently, now Hannah falls down, losing her consciousness. Golem also loses its senses due to this. They stop playing violin instantly. Meanwhile, Golem wakes up all of a sudden, and it attacks church father and kills him brutally. And he also kills the other people there. But Benjamin comes outside, saving himself. On the other side, Vladimir was going to kill now Hannah. Golem arrives on the scene, and it takes Vladimir's heart out, using its hand. So Vladimir is ended all immediately, and he loses his life all of a sudden. Now Golem puts all Vladimir's men into end, and the people who confront it kills all. When now Hannah comes into her senses, then she observes that the village was surrounded by fire, and all people had died. After it, Benjamin comes to now Hannah, and he tells her that the child isn't theirs. Their child had died many years previously. Then now Hannah comes to Golem and says it valediction with love. And she takes that note from the mouth of that Golem, which turns it into the dust quickly. And it dies. Benjamin embraces Hannah later. Now that note flies to Sarah's daughter, and she keeps it in her possession while picking it. And the movie completes on this scene.